Okay, welcome everyone. We are here today joining the session on creating growth mindset vision boards with Microsoft Sway. And this particular session, as you know, will be recorded, and you can also access this back on the Q and Microsoft channel. You can always go back to q.org/Microsoft, and then we also will have that collated underneath the session options that you can see the recording as well. Thank you so much for joining. At any given time, teacher friends, in case you do not see my screen, could someone please let me know? Just turn your microphone on and let me know. I'm trying my best right now to work between a couple different slides and within using the Microsoft Edge browser. And once in a while, no matter what browser that we use, I switch back over and it takes a little bit to push itself through. So sometimes it appears black or blue and we've got to just push the content through. So thank you for hanging in there with me. I've got some beautiful teacher friends on today. Thanks for sharing if you're participating through video, through audio, and also the back channel chat today. I wanted to make sure that you have access to everything that we have. So I'm going to minimize this screen just for one moment for myself. You always have full contact with me after this webinar to making sure that you have all the content and to ask more questions, or if you have more ideas that you'd like to share, not a problem. Okay, let's continue onward. I am very, very thankful to be here with all of you as educators, and I must say I'm a very proud educator too. And I'm a women in leadership strategist, and I work with K through 20 schools, which are K through 12 schools, and then university schools as well too, with our students that are strategizing to basically be teachers in the classroom. I'm also a STEM innovation specialist, and as a specialist, I work with teachers around the country and schools of implementing everything with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And even this topic on creating vision boards is a great complement that you do to anything in your teaching when it comes to STEM with our students. Now, what we're going to do here today, I want to make sure that you get this particular link. So I'm just going to gently escape out of there just for a moment. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it into the back channel chat so that you have this particular link, that you have full access here today, teacher friends. Okay, so I want to make sure that you have it. So welcome our teachers that just joined from Florida, New York, Virginia Beach, and California. So glad that you're here with us. Okay, we're going to go back to full screen for you at this time. So thanks for being patient, everyone. And again, that is the link, and I did share it in the back channel chat so that you can have full access to that today. But in our back channel chat at this time, I first want to know, what do you know about vision boards? Could you please share with me what you think you know what they are, or what you've heard about them? Or if you've been working with a vision or a dream board, could you share with me some amazing ideas of what you're doing? So let's just do a pause and reflect at this time. And I'd like to know, what is your thinking and your brief explanation about what a vision board is? Oh, I love it, Jen. Visual goal setting. Absolutely. That's a component of it. Some of you have heard of that. You want to know more? Yes. Setting intentions visually. David, that is a great reflection. Yeah, dream boards. Dream up anything of the possibilities that you can imagine. Yes. Yep. Visual representations, goals, dreams, hopes. Absolutely. Yes, it's a visual plan. It's helping kids and teachers actually to be very intentional about what they want to do, but making their dreams come true with the reality of visual intentions. Absolutely. I'm glad to see that you're using them with your students, but I would highly advise you to also use them as your teacher model, because if you showcase to your students that you have a dream board or you have a vision board, they want to know what your dreams are, what are your hopes, and how do you attain those and achieve those. It'd be a great model for them. Oh, and you've hung them up in the classroom? I love that, Caroline. What a better way to get kids visually to see them and really to build a stronger community of learners in your classroom. Okay, some of you have heard of them. Some of you said, Naomi, I haven't used them yet. Okay, well, thank you so much for giving me that added information. And I love some of you that said too, Naomi, I've used them. I'm here to gain some new ideas and I want to expand my toolkit. Oh my gosh, Sandra, that's brilliant. I love to hear that. That's great. Yes. And some students save them as screensavers. Absolutely, because they're visually looking at their goals and their visual intentions to stay focused and be accountable for their time. That is wonderful. Okay, thanks everyone for sharing that. We'll have some more pause and reflection, critical thinking moments because this webinar is about vision boards, but it also is about sharing and adding your collective knowledge for everybody to learn today. And this webinar is for you. So I want to make sure that you are really involved in this. So as we continue, I want to give you the big picture. This is kind of where vision boards are and the bigger picture of what they can look like in your classroom. But vision boards really are, it's a creative design and thinking process. It helps children in particular to pause, reflect, process, and to visually think about how can they attain their goals. It really does empower our today's students, but also us as teachers, just to visualize life in general, learning goals and their attention of career-focused ready goals. But then how can I achieve them? Even in small steps or small snackable content chunks, and celebrating those even small achievements at given times. But these boards really provide a learning pathway for many of our students, and it gives them a flexible structure because a lot of our kids need that structure, but knowing that it's flexible makes it just a creative design process. What I like about it too is that this learning path adds clarity, adds creative design, but it helps our kids stay positive and it models for our children that positive growth mindset, and it can help them share their learning and to grow a stronger community of learners in your classroom with other children. Now, some of you may be asking, Naomi, what's the why for vision boards? What's the big picture here? Well, it's purpose. The purpose is it's driven that our vision board is to bring everything to life. A lot of times kids have a hard time connecting the learning dots, especially between key subject areas, if subject areas are taught separately. And then when they need to focus on a career or a learning pathway, they don't see why algebra is really so important and how it connects to their world. They might not see how computer science is actually going to be the backbone of every career job moving forward. So we need to be intentional that if we teach subject areas separately, we need to communicate with how it connects with their world and how it really is a multidisciplinary approach to learning to all subject areas. Now, the other why for vision board, some of you have already probably connected with this, but the focus is on how you want to feel. We need to focus on the entirety of a child, of their social, emotional learning, not just on the material of things that you may want. We really need to focus on what is a child or a teacher's why? What is their dream? How can they achieve it? And what are the steps to connect with them to get to that next level? Now, here's one you may want to think of. This is actually called a soul collage card, and it's a type of vision board. This was already designed back like in 2009 or so. So this is at least 10 or 11 years in the making. But I want to give a shout out to Sue Gelbers, and I have this link embedded into the PowerPoint that I have here. And what I like about this from Sue is that she intentionally focuses on the feeling and the intention of the direction of the vision board. Now, this one's really focused on family. And the more that you can get students involved first about where they're at, and a lot of times it is with their family because it's personalized. It's a very creative and satisfying process to create and make with the tangibility of feeling of actual photographs or items that come out of a magazine, or maybe sketches or drawings that the students have made. But when you make a soul collage card, it actually becomes a really personalized portrait in a way. And it brings about the child or the teacher's personality. So when you look at that particular soul card, you can see that there's colors and tone that has emotional feelings with it. There are a few generations represented in this. So there looks like there is a grandmother, there is a mother, there could be a daughter, there could be grandchildren as well. And you can even see the grandmother has that kind and caring smile. She has a little puppy dog on her lap. But then there's this emotional tone of where the hands are overlapping, where you can see that it's a family bond of how they're all coming together. Now, the one thing that you may not see is behind the chair setting and behind where the women and young women are standing and sitting, there is a threaded actually remnant that's behind there that if you can see that's got yellow, orange, blue, and green. And that's a woven crochet blanket actually that ties the thread of their family history. So there's a lot of history between this picture because a lot of them have carried on the craft of the art of making, of crocheting and making. So that's woven into the soul collage. So this is one means of a vision board to bring about family history, but you could also use this as a means as a story of a child's educational career or their future going on to their next career as they graduate from their K through 12 environment. Now, what else I like about this is that sometimes this is a card that can start the most critical conversation about history of parents or grandparents or siblings that you may have never asked about. So it really deepens an understanding of personal relationships. And this is where I think, because of the pandemic, this could really tie our high school students that are now graduating as being a soul collage card of a meaningful connection of how personalized it can be, that those students that have gone to school for many years together, how they can come together and bring about the most important learning attributes that have taken place. So this is one that you can do, that you can create and make. Again, like I said, you can use magazines, you can use pictures, you can use sketchnoting, and then you interlay it and interwove it between all of this to create a card. And then you can create multiple cards over time that you can create an entirety of a digital story. If you'd like more examples on soul collage, the embedded link is on this particular slide deck that you can even start with this process. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next slide. We will get to sway, but I just want to give you the backbone of the context of the why and the purpose of this first. Now, what I really like about this too, the why for vision boards, we can make and create. You can use paint, you can use tangible items, you can even use the digital attributes of Sway or PowerPoint. It works great. And it's focused on anything that inspires and motivates you to achieve your lifelong goals. There's no rules at all of when and how to create your vision board, but a lot of times teachers appreciate the structure and the workflow of where it fits. So some teachers use it in a career-focused class. Some teachers use it in part of to complement the literature and the writing process to strengthen the writing skills of even our most reluctant writers, because when students feel they have a purpose and they have a direction, that they feel that they have ownership, it really helps those kids really take off with the reading and writing aspect. Now, you may be asking, well, Naomi, do vision boards actually work? And I have to say, yes, they do. Vision boards do. It is all part of the visualization of one of the most powerful attributes of our beautiful mind exercises that we can do for ourselves, our children, and even our family members. There's actually proven research from Psychology Today research that really shows that when today's learners, such as our Generation Z students who are in your classrooms right now, from 3rd grade up through 12th grade, and then also have entered the workforce or their education college careers, that they learn visually first before written text. So this really resonates with them, this type of design thinking process, to have them to dream, to visualize and to create their opportunity of their next careers. Also, there's brain-based research studies that also reveal that thoughts produce the same mental instructions as actions. So a lot of our sports affiliates or very much are people that play professional sports. They have vision and dream boards, and it really kind of pumps up their psyche before a basketball or a baseball or even a hockey game. And they use these visualization boards and they may put them inside of their lockers or inside of their workout areas or inside of their home environments to practice, to pause, and use part of meditation, but then to also help them mentally think through the steps of the process to complete a project or their next game plan if it's a sporting event. So I have the research there to support it too. Now, this is a vision board that I have made, and this is actually just created in PowerPoint. I really like a design graphics element, so I like to use inspirational quotes, affirmation of words. I like to take my own pictures, and then I like to create little memes out of them. So like the one on the very top on the right says change for women. So I got a little picture, and then I could add more words to it, and then I emphasize the word of focusing on what I want. So again, I noted at the beginning, I am a women in leadership strategist, and I do a lot of coaching and mentoring of girls, young women, and professional women in organizations of focusing on their why and their goal of achieving their dreams. So we use vision boards for that. In the bottom left quadrant, you can see I kind of have my desk set up. And it's perfectly fine now, right? Because we are here at home, most of us, for remote learning. And I have been online for many, many, many years. And part of my home environment has always been my office space. So I keep my visualization of my board up every day so that I can see it and I can focus on it and help me to reflect on gratitude each morning before I start my day. I also have a gratitude-filled moment midpoint of day because if something's not going well or something to celebrate. And then I close out my day with a gratitude moment, reflecting back on how it's made a change and connected back to my vision board to making sure I'm staying on task. Then my other bottom right corner, what I have is I always celebrate young women of the different types of strategies and presentations that I provide. So motivating girls to lean in to pursue passion-driven STEM careers is actually a major presentation that I usually present and work with girls in schools to help them to achieve their goals and how to start like a STEM club in their school as well. And my motto is, together we are better. And I always want to share that thought because there's no way that we can know it all. And I always focus on that when I don't know an answer to something, I know I have a community of learners that I can reach out to help me. And it's okay to say I don't know something, but I know how to find the answer with my relationships that I have with others. So this is part of my digital visualization board. So now I'm going to ask a question. Let's pause and reflect. How do I, or you can say, how do you introduce the vision board creative design thinking process to your students or fellow teachers? So even with the insight that I just gave you, what are some strategies that you think that you could introduce? The why, what is the vision board, and how you could start this process with students or fellow teachers. So I will leave that slide up, and I'd like you to pause and think, how could you introduce this to your students? Now that I gave you a little insight, I have some more insight, but I don't want to give it all away right away. So how would you introduce the vision board process to your students? Where do you think you could start? And as I'm going back to the back channel chat, that's where you can pause and reflect. And that's okay that you came in a little bit late. Marie, thank you so much for coming back from Oakley, California. Rosanna, thanks for coming in and resharing that link. I give you a huge virtual hug for helping her get up to speed. Thank you. We also have Lerma, you're coming in from the Philippines today. Welcome, dear friend. And we have some other teacher friends that are joining us too. So how would you introduce the vision board creative design and thinking process? Where do you think it would be a good fit for you? Where do you think you could start with students or teachers? Ah, I like that, starting in the middle, almost like you're brainstorming, like a concept map. That's a great strategy. Yeah, it really has to be ownership from the students. You got to ask them, what do they want? Make the possibilities be totally open ended. If they could recreate the best future for themselves, what could it look like? What could it feel like? And how would they be part of it to making sure that the world will be transformed for good? Yes, a well being unit. What a perfect place. Yes, and the tie in to reflect on quotes frequently, setting those goals of intentions. Yes, absolutely. Okay, wonderful. Yes, and I too am joining you from beautiful Arizona, Cave Creek, Arizona, today, about 40 miles north of Phoenix. Okay. Yes, I really think so too. Our English language learners, or if you're using it for language art class as well, it is amazing. The visualization can help connect really complex subject areas, and it can help our students be more reflective. And it can empower students actually to take on more complex text because they're interested in something that really has meaningfulness to them. I love that idea, Rochelle. Introduce themselves to the class. What a great way to build community. I agree. I agree. Yes. Wow, look at these connections. You know, I have some teachers in here saying, yeah, building a stronger community at the beginning, but even I would introduce this all year long. Keep building upon this, helping your students achieve even new goals each quarter. Even if you could introduce this strategy 4 times, can you imagine the amazing learning opportunities for kids? And by you modeling this, this will carry over into their young adulthood and then into adults as well too. Absolutely. Oh, Aubrey, I'm glad you're from Casa Grande. Oh my goodness, you're just north of me. I'm so glad you're here, dear friend. Good. Okay, wonderful. All of your ideas, this is so important. And I love it that it's so critical to employ the critical pedagogy first, right? That's why we're starting here today. It's not about the tech, it's about the pedagogical practices of focusing on the why, the importance for children to make meaningful connections of what they can contribute to their world, life, and career of good. And I think it's really going to help our kids, especially feel more safe and secure and build confidence of what they want to achieve and attained by a clear roadmap for them. Oh, beautiful ideas. Thanks everyone for sharing. Continue the learning and continue the sharing, even if I give you some more ideas, and then we'll get into sway just momentarily. So thanks everyone. Okay, so as we continue on, what I have here for you, oh, I know, I kind of skipped over something. Let's make sure if I have this correct for you. I do have a link that's built in here that's on, let's make sure if I can get this to you, making sure that I have this, that you can see. Okay, this link I'm going to take and I'll share with you one more time. Thanks for being patient, everyone. I almost skipped over it. I have got so much the pedagogy I want to share with you with all of this. Let me make sure that I can get you the link if you're not in there. I'm going to copy this link. And when I copy this link, teacher friends, in the back channel chat is where I'm going to add it now. And this is going to be our shared collaboration board. Now, this is going to be tricky, so I kind of need your patience here. Now I've given you the shared collaboration board. What you're going to see is that everyone's invited to this and everyone can edit. If you're signed in, it may prompt you to sign into your Microsoft Office account. So once you get in, what it's going to look like is that I have about 40 or 50 boards set up here. If you click on a board, once you get in, make sure that you're the first, if you're on it. I see somebody's joined already. Once you get in, you can put your name on it so that you know that board is taken. If somebody's got that board, go to the next one and so on. You can see when I look on my left sidebar that our guest user is on there right now. If I go to a second one, you can see other teacher friends will come in. Now, I have another one coming down. Yeah, choose one that doesn't have an icon by it, and then you can come in and choose another one. What I'd like you to do, let's just take a minute or two. This is a great way to get thinking of first how to draft a critical reflection for your students. And I set this up when I work, especially with students, because I want to know a little bit more about them, and it helps me give a directionality of where they're going, of what they can do to create their dream board. So make sure you choose a board that hasn't been taken, and you can see on the left sidebar that if there's a little G icon, that means somebody is already on there. Just scroll to one if somebody doesn't have one. You can see that I've got, let's see, I've got 35, 40, 50 boards, I think, set up in here. I normally have about an average of 50 teachers that attend my sessions. And I see today, I think we probably have many more than that. If you need a board, doesn't take much. I can just click on it and I can duplicate the slide just like that. So if we run out of boards, you could actually click on one and click duplicate. So again, I'm working right now within our OneDrive. I've invited you to come in to share your collective intelligence of who you are, your why, and how you can introduce things here. You can draw, you can sketch, but right away I can click to someone. Here's Sandra, she's coming in from Riverside, California. So you can see how easy it is. So you can introduce yourself, share your influence or educational impact. You can also identify your personal goal or idea that you'd like to improve to make you more present with family, and then share one professional goal or an idea that you'd like to improve to enhance your teaching instruction. Now, I made this, basically this board set up as a teacher reflection because I'm working with teachers today. You could easily take this as a starting page to work with your kiddos in your classroom that you want to know more about them, and then have the language changed to reflect student ideas, student beliefs, student dreams of what they want their vision to be. But this is another way that I help kids brainstorm kind of where they're at. Okay, I've got Sarah coming in from Illinois and others. Now, I know we only have so much time today, so continue on with this, that when you gain access to this, please add your content information. I'd love to continue learning with you and from you, but you can see right away what a unique opportunity we call this an education protocol, that I start with one slide that is identical to all the other slides, and everyone shares their collective intelligence, and then we can connect and continue to grow our knowledge. Okay, thanks everyone. Let me go back over here now to our other slide again. And what I'm going to do from here, oh, I see we do have that on there. Let me change this out just a minute for the annotation. I'm going to clear that annotation off right now. Thank you, that's okay. And let's see, for myself, we'll just clear that and then I'll go back to my mouse. All right, thanks everyone. So here's some other options before we get into Sway today. How I've done it and worked with kids and teachers is a lot of times that I'm introducing options to vision boards. It could be maybe it's an advisory or a meeting morning time with children. It could be that we're truly focusing on building a stronger community of responsible learners. And I think when we all go back, when we eventually go back to school with our kids, our focus really needs to be on SEL, or social emotional learning, to build communities. And I think this is a game changer to help kids feel safe again, to build their confidence level up, and to really have them be active contributors of their learning. Growth mindset as a year-long SEL theme, I mentioned that earlier. I think it's essential. Monday morning impacts. This is what I've done when I've worked with teachers as I coach them when we meet Monday mornings. They contribute to their vision board and we share out one thing that they're going to try to achieve or strive for learning more all week long. 20% projects and genius hours are another way to incorporate vision boards in your classroom. I actually help kids with a flexible structure, and sometimes this helps teachers. You may want to use a checklist. This is a vision board checklist. You can identify that you have goals. You need to make sure that maybe you're first making it tangible without any tech. You're using magazines or marker materials. You're cutting out inspirational photos and quotes that resonate with a child and that they can help find a focus of what they want to make their actual vision board about. They could also look at collage making tools, tangible or digital. Some teachers like to use different tools like Canva or other types of meme making tools that you can use to do beautiful uh, photo overlays to add text on top of a picture. You may want to create affirmation of words. You can create dynamic ones using word art right within Word itself. And then also journals or reflection apps to have kids constantly reflect on that learning. Now, here is my 6-step process that I use. You can change this up, use it any which way that you want, but I want to give you what's worked for me when I work with adult learners, but also when I work with students. We basically identify a list of goals that you'd like to achieve next year or this next school year. I start small. I start usually with so many weeks. Maybe it's just a 4-week process, and usually not more than a 10-week process, because that can be overwhelming to children. So even 4 weeks, or if you're introducing a thematic unit of study, it might be a great way to tie that in there too. Again, collect old magazines, and kids can find beautiful pictures that truly resonate with them. You can also find these pictures that represent their goals or inspirations that they want to achieve. And then first having the kids creating and making that way so they understand what that design thinking process is of the big picture, and then using those affirmation of words and then to reflect on that vision board each day. So if you can brainstorm goals with the kids, this gets them thinking. Setting a goal is a real life skill. And in order to achieve a goal, we have to have incremental steps or design thinking steps that are more structured in order to achieve that. So again, start with like a quarter at a time or so many weeks. But then also please support your students with guided questions, because sometimes kids will say, I don't know what I want to do. So they need a visual prompt or they need a STEM starter, we say. So developing strong goal setters and goal getters. I have a research-based article that just was actually written about a week ago from ASCD. So I have this link in here as well. And if anyone would like to tap into that, you can add that to the back channel chat. Here's another one. I want to give a shout out to Casey Bell. She put a collection of questions together, of guided questions, of helping kids think bigger about themselves, about what they want and who they want to become and be. This can even start at elementary, middle school, and high school. And sometimes a really grounded question can help with the design thinking process to create your vision board. So I have those here as well, and the link to Casey's site to give her credit where credit is due. Now, magazines, I've mentioned this already. It is amazing that even when I work with high school students, they love the touch and feel of a magazine, and they really want to actually cut, and they want to paste, and they want to do all that tangibility. There's something about the art of crafting and putting it all together to showcase the big picture. So I've done this where I've actually asked friends or grandparents, even our neighbors, could you please provide for us any recycled magazines that you're no longer using that our students could use? You can even pick them up at the dollar store or the thrift store. Now, from this pandemic, we know we need to be careful because the coronavirus can spread and stay active on tangible things and items up to 3 days. So making sure that the students have their own collection of magazines. And then if they're done with them, put them in a storage area and put a timer set on it for at least 72 hours and then you can rotate those magazines around in the class so you'll still have enough. But just keeping best practices in mind to stay safe with everyone. Some other things for step 3 is find pictures and images that really have a personal feel, and a goal that resonates with those children is really important. Also, if you're looking for copyright-free images, I really like using the Microsoft Edge browser, because then you can search within Bing. And then when you search within Bing, the screenshot that I have here, when I search within Bing, and if I even put the word vision board, and I'm looking for vision board quotes, I've got a whole collection of different sites that will come up, but all kinds of images that I can use that are free to use to share and modify, because I can use the filter tool within Bing to find images that I can use when I'm creating and to model that for appropriate digital citizenship practices for our students. Yet, if you're looking for more free types of photo tools, I'd highly recommend Photos for the Class or Pixabay or Pexels or Unsplash. Those are all copyright and royalty-free images that you can use, that if you're going to do the digital design using Sway or PowerPoint. So those are some more resources to tap into. Now, step number 4 was to actually let's make that collage. Somebody mentioned earlier in the back channel chat that you said, you know what, wouldn't it be great if we started in the center with the main idea and then we branched off with subtopics or sub ideas to have those connections? That's how I would think too. And I love that type of thinking because it's structured, it's meaningful, and it's actually creating as a brainstorming or a concept map. This teacher, as an example that you can see in the far right corner, what she has done, whoops, let me go back one moment, sorry about that. What she has done has created a board of like a tic-tac-toe board, and she has 9 main areas. And she's got prosperity and abundance. And then she has fame and aspiration, love and relationships. Then she has family, then she has health, and she has children. So this teacher is creating a board that has 9 main components. Again, you don't need all 9. Maybe you want to start with 3 for students, and 1 poses a question, and 2 are clear indicators that it's going to help kids add and design content that they like. After she identifies those 9 contributors, you can see on the next board that she draws and creates, and she adds ideas. She's brainstorming, adding ideas. And then the next one, she takes some magazines and she finds what she's looking for. And she cuts out big words. She has a passion, she has a drive, she has health. She has an emotional heart to meet the needs of her students. And she creates that as one vision board, as a tactile environment that she can work with and she can hang right next to her classroom that she can see every day. Now, don't forget, if you're a Bitmoji person, all of those Bitmojis have so much emotional tone and feeling that I think you'll really like too. So don't forget about that. You can add those into your boards. If you're looking for motivational words, those affirmation of words are really important because it represents how you feel and that tone reflects. So whether you cut them out of magazines, you design them in word art, or you design them with an online tool to create fancy word art, you can do that too. And number 6, please keep the ongoing reflection going for our students. I've included a Magical Learning Moments PPT that I have here that I created for our Kids for Remote Learning that I use with students worldwide. And it helps them reflect on a gratitude learning moment of the day and to help them focus. And then also a midday impact and what they visually learned and what they have evidence of their learning. And we use that to support their vision board designs over a content amount of time, whether it's a unit of study or whether it's 4 weeks or whether it's up to 10 weeks. So that's just something else as an extra if you'd like. Now, that's the content piece that I wanted to give you. Could you, at this time, go back to our back channel chat? And I know that was a lot of content. What was your greatest learning takeaway of the importance of creating a vision board that you learn from the pieces of information that I gave you of kind of that 6-step approach? What resonated with you most? And I'm going to bring up our chat that I can see in the background at the same time. Yes, and you're coaching each other in the background. Thank you. And Lauren, thank you for adding the research again. So again, my question to you, in the last 6 slides that I showed, I gave you some steps of where to start. What resonated with you most of maybe a starting place? Would you start with a magazine? Would you start with a digital aspect? Or how about the structure of creating an actual scripted board to get started with? So let me know what resonated with you most. And if you could just even give me just a few words so I can kind of see where you're at. Yeah, the ongoing reflection is huge. The guided questions are essential. Remember we talked about that, the kids? There's some that say, I don't know where to start. And they'll say, Mrs. Harm, help me, I need some guidance. So that's when it's like, let's bring out the magazines, let's bring out the visuals, but let's focus on the questions. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it's a great way to end the year too on a positive note to really reflect on the learning. But wouldn't it even be more fun to see where they were at the beginning and then how you closed your year out? Wow, that is just like an e-portfolio in itself. Okay, wonderful. It would help too the younger kiddos, right? It's really going to help express them, especially when they're having a struggle expressing themselves. And pictures are worth 1,000 words, I say, absolutely. Small, snackable content chunks. I'm glad you took that away, David, because that's how we, even as teachers, learn. We've got too much information coming at us. Smaller is better. And then the bigger connections, kids can feel more confident and celebrate those small milestones to make the greater gains. Absolutely. Keep sharing away, teachers, as we continue on. But what I'd like you to do at this time, I'd like you to jump on over to Sway. And when you go to Sway, this may prompt you to sign into your account. And I have a few things I'm going to model right from my Sway account so you can see what I have. So teacher friends, at this time, what I'd like you to do, let me close this out just a minute. Okay. I'd like you just to go to sway.office.com. Some of you already may have the app installed, and you can go right to your app if you'd like. If you want to go to sway.office.com in your Microsoft Edge browser, it works best using that browser. And I love the Microsoft Edge browser because it's just simple and so streamlined. Okay, let me pop back over here. And this is what my board currently looks like. So yes, I see that you're seeing it at this time. I've got just some really brief examples that I want to share with you first so you can see what it looks like. Down here, and let me see if I can get this larger. I'm hitting Command plus on my laptop, and I'm making my screen larger so that you can see it so it's not so small, and then I can make it larger and smaller there. I've got 3 examples. These 3 examples are, I have one here that's called the Mississippi River Living. I used to live in beautiful southeast Minnesota. And in southeast Minnesota, we had our home that we lived right on the beautiful big Mississippi River and on the end of a bay. And you can see my Sway as an example. I actually have small, snackable content, chunks of information. So I give the big title of the Mississippi River Living. I got to include a video of a big steamboat coming up from Missouri. I took a snapshot of the back of our old time boat that we have and things like that, and our son sea doing. And then I've got a group stack that I can do too. So I can add collections of photos in a group. I can add videos. I can add audio. So you can see when you first come into Sway, when I first click create, I have a storyline view, and then I have a design view. And the design view will allow me then to view all of this in more of a linear fashion, that I can scroll through my items. So you can see my collection of photos, my stack of photos, and then a collection of more photos, that you can see that we have the beautiful 4 seasons. When I was in Minnesota, we had summer, we had fall, we had winter, and then we had our spring season again. And you can even see that the bottom picture, we actually created a large ice skating rink in the middle of our winter months. But we could boat in the summer and swim and fish, but we could skate is what we could do. But if I play this back for you and I click play, what you're going to see now is everything kind of pops up to life. So if this is a vision board, you can see I have a small snackable chunk that started with. Now my story is, this is a big steamboat, and I can play back that steamboat that I actually had a recorded section. It'll take just a minute to come in. So early this morning, as we were at about 9 o'clock, we have a big, beautiful tour boat going by, as you can see. And this one is the American Queen. What a beautiful Friday for our riverboat cruise to across Wisconsin, probably coming up from Dubuque, Iowa. Absolutely stunning. This is what our right out of our back door looks like, right onto the beautiful riverfront. And then I can stop it there. So you can play back and have total interaction with just high resolution content. I recorded that video many years ago back on one of our little flip cameras. And I don't know if anybody remembers the little flip camera that we had, and it would pop out a little USB. I still wish they were being made, but they're not anymore. And I tell you, that was a sweet little deal that you could capture right away and then upload that content to your computer. Now you can see I have stacks. This is a stack. Here's a baby turtle. I've got a frog. I've got a friend that came down to go fishing, and she caught about a 30-inch northern pike off from our bay. Then I have another stack. You can see that I have a boat. I have on my son's sea doing, and then a boat of the back of it. Then I have a collection of pictures at the bottom. And when I click on that, you can see the beautiful display of what it looks like. And then I can scroll through at my leisure. And there's our winter view. And there is our winter view of our ice hockey rink. When I go back, I can easily get back out of that. So as you can see, your overall vision board can be a collection of items of your hopes and dreams of tangibility assets that you have at your own disposal, or you can add actual other digital assets that you've created. So let me go back to, I'm going to click on the sway icon on the left side, and here's just one more quick one, and then we're going to get into making. This is one that I even made over the weekend. I love to make homemade things, and especially baked goods and breads. I have an easy homemade French bread recipe that I made. So you can see this design. Let me go ahead and play it for you. This is a different display back. So you can see my loaves of bread that have raised. You can do this all in an hour and a half, teacher friends. So if you want this recipe, I have it here for you. But I love making homemade, beautiful bread. And then with this, as I continue on, you'll see here's the next stage. I baked the bread. That's what it looks like. Then I've continued on because we always have a family brunch during our Sundays. And that's important. We always have family time that we sit down and we gather and have a beautiful brunch. From that French toast, I made banana stuffed French toast for my family. Of course, we had a side of some wonderful protein. We had some bacon and sausage, but I complemented it with a great balance of some fresh fruit and bananas and strawberries. But as we can continue on, you can see that I've got other pictures, different display options. So my story is, you can see I love to bake and I love the art of baking, and I almost see this as a visual art technique to entice others of knowing that, you know what, I think my next, besides my teaching hat on I have right now, my next adventure is I'd love to be a culinary chef of some sort, but more so probably a pastry chef is what I'd like. So this is my passion that comes through. I can link up here. I have a link, and that link can take me, that'll take me back out of Sway, and then it takes me to my Better Homes and Gardens page of where I can get that banana stuffed French toast recipe instantly. So that's what I really like about this. It's so interactive. And when it's this interactive, it allows for me to have my end user interact with the content that I have. Okay, so there's basically just two examples. Now I'm going to go back to Sway. So if you're on Sway, this is what I'd like you to do. You can see at this time that I have, when you land at your Sway, you may have a little bit of a different background than I do, but you can easily create new here at the very top, or you can create new in the center. Remember, anytime that you have three little dots, that allows you to create new again. So that's the fourth place. You have a help tutorial of everything of the step-by-step guide, your account credentials, and then when you can sign out. But anytime that I create something new, oh, here's the other thing. Sorry, let me come down. Not only when I look at my content here today, teacher friends, I can also see feedback from those of you that have viewed my feedback, analytics of people. So I've got 80 reviews on here, views, 3 minutes, people stay and watch it, 75% completion, who looked at it quickly, who looked at it and just read it quickly, who read the entirety of it. So it gives you a lot of content of what you have. You can also start from a Microsoft document that you can bring into this environment, so which is beautiful and makes all of those elements just as beautiful too. You can also start from a topic. And so when we talk about starting from a topic, I can easily put something in here and I could say elementary school, and I can instantly create an outline. When I create that outline, this is what it will do for you. I put in the topic. It says, do you want the Cartwright Elementary School? Do you want a different school, the Kennedy School, or Scottsdale Unified? That's how it knows that I'm that close to Scottsville Unified School District. And I'll say, sure, let's use the one that's right next door. So I'm going to choose that. And when I choose that, this is what it does for you. It provides the instant outline for you to give the main source It's pulling that information from the school site, and it's telling me that it's going to add a text card that the Scottsdale Unified School District, its headquarters is in Phoenix. It has 112 square miles. It tells us it's next to Paradise Valley, and so on and so on. Then it gives me a history card. This is where I, in this part here, could add a background picture. And when I look at that, instantly it's going to say, okay, Naomi, do you want a history picture from the side? Do you want an Arizona picture? I could even do a search and put in something specific, or I can scroll down further and find something more detailed with Scottsdale, or I can choose from my own device or my OneDrive account. But if I choose even from Scottsdale today, I could choose a beautiful landscape of our beautiful area here. And I'm going to say, yes, I'd like to include that picture, please. And I click add. When I do that and I add that to my content piece, that history has this beautiful picture now that I have in here. When I click inside the text, I can highlight the text and emphasize the text to make it bold and more dominant so it stands out. I can even apply an accent to it, and I could link it back to that certain location of that picture. I can also click on the focal point. And the focal point means, do I want when that picture is shown to shown on this large cacti, or do I want it back here on the mountainscape? I'm going to say, well, how about that cacti at this time? Let's do it there. That should be great. And then when I play it back, you're going to see right away how it turns into a beautiful school, unified school district sign. It's telling me it's auto-generated, and I can take that slide out if I don't want. And now you can see that I have right here is that picture of that cactus. And that's a beautiful feeling of the emotional tone of what our landscape looks like in the Southwest. Then it goes on to tell me about the history, the elementary schools, the K through 12, the middle and high school. So, and it's telling me where it's pulling this information from, but I can also go to the direct website and I can generate this too. So teacher friends, you can easily create content right away with identifying, if I go back to show you again, starting from a topic. But if you want to start new, all you have to do is back from the main Sway page at sway.office.com, or if the app you've used, create new. When you create new, it gives you a small, snackable content chunk. And that chunk will allow you again to add a background. And again, the background means, what do I want to add there? Well, if I'm creating a vision board, I want maybe something to do, and maybe now with, how about mobile technology? So just to share with you, I'm going to search for mobile technology. And do you see here, what a wonderful way for us as teachers. It's already selecting it from Creative Commons only, meaning the pictures or videos that I choose to add are educationally appropriate to use. It meets the guidelines of digital citizenship, and it's safe for all end users. Well, I want that mobile technology. I'm going to choose, let's see what I got here. Oh, I just like these different types of graphics. This kind of resonates with me. It kind of gives me a feeling of everything. I can choose that. I could add this here and say my passion-based project of using, I'll just call it mobile tech with a purpose to engage students with learning. Whoops, sorry. And then once I do that, you can see what it looks like. This is my main title it is. I can emphasize that to even make it larger, smaller. I can add an accent, or I can add an actual link in there if I would choose to do that. I can even choose my focus point again, and where do I want that? Well, maybe I want it right in the middle, so it lands there, which is fine. And when I play it back, you'll be able to see that my identity of my passion-based project of using mobile tech with purpose is right there. Now I'm seeing that, it's like, maybe I should edit that. Maybe I need to change that a little bit. And what else could I do? So with the details that we have in this card, I can actually add more text to this in the accent like we did originally, or I could also change that if I don't want it to be a heading and I want it to be something else. I could also keep it really simplistic, and I could just do mobile teaching and learning. If I highlight that, I can right click on it and you can see that I can still add. I can undo, I can cut, I can copy, I can paste. I can blend it in with a language setting and even open in the immersive reader to have it played back for my students, or to have it chunked out to play back word by word to help students with those different Lexile reading abilities. That's what's amazing with this. I can instantly click plus. That allows me to add more content. And when I add more content, I can add a heading, just text. I could add text of a heading or text, pardon me. I could add media, meaning I can add an image, video, audio. I can get the iframe to embed it, or I can upload my own content. And then I can group. And I showed how you can do some stacks that are personally interest. I can even add a grid. And when I add a grid, that allows me to add items in specific pieces, that if I'd like to do that. If it's something I don't want, I can easily get rid of it too, and then easily go back and say, okay, for this one, how about we do add a video in? And when I add that video, it opens up my side panel and it knows that I'm talking about mobile teaching and learning, and lets me go to a video right away on the side if I choose to do that. I could also include my own video if I'd want to, or if I have a video that if I'd like to add in here, I could even put in Q, and we could do, let's see if we'll get this come up. Just going to put those two keywords in. Let's see if anything comes up for Q in Microsoft. Well, sure it does. So here's one of my sessions that I've done. And this particular one was on Microsoft Word. And other items, if I scroll down, let's see if it captured my others. How about if I put my name in there at the top? So now I have my name as Naomi Harm. Here's some other ones. Here's past ones that I've done. Here's getting started. Here's changing the mobile teaching and learning landscape. Well, that one is the one I was looking for. That'd be most appropriate. So if I add that in there, now you'll be able to see, here's my video that I have. And if I play it back to see where I'm at, you can see that this is my beginning. And maybe because look at the text and the pictures, maybe that's not the best picture I should use. So I might want to change that. But then over here, this is where I have my video, and that will play back right away. And I'll just pause that. So you can add digital content that students have personally created, so they're really showing what they know, almost as a digital e-portfolio as part of Sway. That's the beauty of this. It's just absolutely wonderful. So teacher friends, due to our time constraint where we're at, let's say if this was my final vision board that I'm starting with mobile teaching and learning, and maybe I put in another text of my 3 steps of how I'm going to attain my goal, and then add critical assets of some stacks of pictures, and then a reflection piece. I can constantly refer back to this and update this as I go. If I need to share this with my teacher or my classmates, at the very top is where you have share. And when you click share, this is where you can invite your teacher, your students to be part of this to view. Or if you want to co-collaborate on this, if this is a team project with teachers or a team project with students, I could actually click edit. And this option provides for me by sharing that link that we can co-create as a collaborative team, which is beautiful. I also have more options that you can also require a password to view or edit this way. That keeps it more secure and protected. And then it says viewers can see the share buttons, and I could disable that so others do not share as well. But by viewing that and sharing it, I can get the visual link. I can share through a social media stream. I can even get the embed code, meaning I can add this back into my own ePortfolio or my own Microsoft site or my own website if I'd like to do that. And I can easily go back into reset. So the possibilities, teacher friends, are endless when you're using Sway. Not only can it be a great way for kids to design a visual board, it can be an e-portfolio. It can also be a wonderful student performance project that connects and is updated throughout everything that they do, that they could use this as a wonderful resume material boost for them to showcase to a potential employer, because our employers are looking for more digital aspects of documentation of what children have done in their educational careers. So what a better way to show something that is so beautiful. So I'm going to, at this time, teacher friends, I'm going to stop sharing this particular slide, and I'm going to come back to our main area, and I'll check where we're at with our chat, that if you have questions that I didn't possibly perhaps answered, but any questions that you have at this time from learning of working with Sway. Yes, someone says this is great. And if you're in a different area, let's say I live actually in Cave Creek, and Scottsdale came for me because it's almost like our IP provider thinks that I'm there. You could actually put in your exact town or location or address, and then your correct location will come up. Yes, Marie, good connection. It is similar to Google Sites. So you're going to see right away all these connections that we talked about this morning. You bet. Wonderful. How much instruction? I usually give, even with students that I'm working on, maybe about 10, 12 minutes at the very most. And I give them first a small chunk and then let them play and design. Then I bring them back, introduce a new concept, let them play and design. Then I bring them back again and let them create and make. So smaller is better here, sometimes even 5 minutes. It just depends the level of where your students are at. I always try to show examples first of what possibilities can be. And I've even shown some Sway examples of like, wow, this is totally disorganized. If we could recreate the Sway, what would a good element of design come into play? And I help kids problem solve of coming up with strategies. That's what we do. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, there is a means that you can change the text color as well, Donna. Absolutely. There's a palette of colors that you can get to. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. And you can always go to what we can within the Microsoft Office. You can always see the different types of elements within Sway. There's collections of Sways that are out there. Even if you Google an e-portfolio or a vision board using Sway, you're going to come up with many, many, many ideas. But this was an introduction to Sway, and we're hoping that you've made lots of learning connections today of how to get started. And it says, how can you make it vertical instead of horizontal? It depends on your type of stacking of the designs. If you are going to create it just, I would say if you'd want it horizontal, that's the one that I just did with picture, 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 picture. If you want to make it vertical, that's when you can start out with an outline and that you can build. So that's how you get the differences made. That's a great question, Karen. Thank you. Okay. Yes, and it's a great way to collaborate. Absolutely. Please feel free to add your comments, anything else. And do students need a Sway account as well? If your account is set up in your school system with the Microsoft Office credentials, this is also an app that can be put into basically the backbone of your infrastructure that can be passed out to your students. Students at home right now, that if they don't have Microsoft accounts, they can create a Microsoft account, and then they can go to Sway, to the area that we went to today, and then to create within there. It's going to ask them at this time that if they'd like to create that, it may prompt them to create an account, and it just depends what level that they have access to at the school. All right. So I hope that makes sense. It says, if YouTube is blocked, can they see the video of embedded into Sway? Yeah, if YouTube is blocked at your school, within your Sway, for them to have it played back, it will be blocked as well. If they play it back at home and YouTube is not blocked, they'll be able to play it there. There's different avenues. So if you're not using YouTube, you can use Vimeo. You could use your own videos that they've created, and they can upload as well, that are, if it's localized on your laptop or mobile device, and then you can upload. Absolutely. Yes, and yes, many ways that you can be co-creators. Okay. Wonderful, teacher friends. The other thing, I know that some of you maybe still be here. The last thing I wanted to share with you, and I know we went over our time, but I want to give you the world as always. So back in our main presentation where we were at, let's see if I can launch this back so that you can get to it. If I go back to my desktop, what I wanted to share with you is on the remainder of the slide deck that I have, you'll be able to see that I have my contact information here. Feel free to contact me anytime if you want to brainstorm ideas, share ideas, even share your vision boards that you've created. I'd love to see what you create. Tomorrow morning, I have office hours again at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which would be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You're more than welcome if you want to continue the conversation there. Absolutely. I've got today's presentation also here for you. I have a great collection of resources. So these are teacher friends that have allowed me and given me permission to share what they've created and items that I have personally created too. So I want to make sure that you can start with this. Using the approach of UDL, understanding by design and helping kids, even starting with a backwards design structure of the why, which is most important, and have them do a backwards design. I have some other tools that you can expand upon and build in that if you're creating in something else, how you can put this into Sway as well. So you may want to think about that. I mentioned Canva. I absolutely love that web-based tool. Free library stock images too, but how you can create digital memes and bringing those back into Sway to energize up your playback of what you have. Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time, your dedication to the profession, and hope that you have an absolutely wonderful day. Please feel free to contact me anytime and would love to follow up with each and every one of you so we continue to grow our educational learnings and confidence when it comes to Sway and growth mindset vision boards. Okay, thank you, everyone. Yes, you'd like the link to the board again? Absolutely, not a problem. Let me get that for you. I'm going to back right out of here, and I can give you the full link as well that we have. Let's go back here. Okay. So here it is. It's tinyurl.com/visiondreamboards. And I will type it in the back channel chat again so that you do have it. I had Laura was helping me when she was there. She may have logged out already. So I have our https://tinyurl.com/vision-dream-boards. Okay, here you go. So that's the entirety of it. And I'm glad that you're a beginner and you're going to give it a try. That's what it's about, right? So already your growth mindset is positivity wins and trying something new prevails. I absolutely love it. Okay, thanks everyone. I appreciate all the insight and the questions that you offered and what you've created to grow this amazing group today because you shared some amazing ideas. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and happy Memorial Day to the rest of you. Together we're better. We can't know it all. So that's why we're here to share the continued learning as it continues on all summer long with Microsoft and Q.